Hello guys, welcome to Common Core and Gifted Learning. This is Neha. Today we will talk about Cogat full test. So there are two types of tests that happens. Generally they have to go through a screening that happens for three batteries. I have made a separate video for this. So you can go back and check in the under the Cogat playlist. And if your child qualifies for this like screen test, if he or she does well and he reaches the criteria marks, then they have to take the full Cogat, and the full Cogat consists of like nine batteries. Yeah, they are pretty like dense, and it takes time. So obviously you have to start preparing like a year before at least. And I'll walk you through the batteries and solve some examples and give you some key areas to focus on. And then at the end I will close it with some tips that might help your child. Full Cogat overview. So, first battery is verbal battery. So, under verbal battery, there are three subparts. They are verbal analogies, sentence completion, and verbal classification. Verbal analogies is something you have already done for the screening, and so include two more will be sentence completion and verbal classification. The questions kind of looks like the thumbnails I have given. There will be like a sentence, and then you have to choose the right option that suits best the sentence. And then for verbal classification, it's mostly categorical questions. And then we have quantitative battery. Quantitative battery deals with numbers, under which we have number analogies, which we already uh, covered during the screening time. Then we have number puzzles, and then we have number series. So you have to do one thing at a time, but try not to do one thing too many of them. So I would prefer like a variety over the quantity, because otherwise it kind of piles up like weekend dishes. So what happens is they kind of master one of the sub batteries like so well, the other two the marks goes down. So there is like a statistics that they get very monotonous. Their brain kind of just focuses on like the analogy in a particular way, so then they are unable to solve the series or recognize. So it's about activating various kind of neurons that helps you solve this kind of puzzles. So I would do quality over quantity. Once they master the quality and the concept is very clear, then I will increase the quantity just for practice and to keep that neuron activated. Then the last battery is non-verbal battery, under which we have figure matrices, paper folding, and figure classification. Figure matrices we have done during the screening. Paper folding is basically the paper, like you have to imagine like they will fold a paper, and then there will be like holes, and you have to imagine that when it opens, which is the best figure match out of all. And figure classification is categorizing the uh, like what belongs to the group given in the question. So verbal analogy, if you've watched my screening video, this will be familiar to you. So just but for my new viewers, I'll just go over this quickly. This one is a post which is becoming a appliance. That's one way to do it. But what is the detail here that is common? So you have to find the similarity between the two objects. Similarity is both are open, but over here the expectation is to find something that is closed. So immediately this 3 gets cancelled, and we are left with our answer, that is a closed briefcase. So finding the similarity between the objects and then determining what is the criteria, what is the basis on which we have to choose our answers. Next is sentence completion. It is the first day of school for Scott. Scott puts a snack bar, a pencil, and two books in his backpack to take to school. Which picture shows the objects in his backpack? So the simplest way, it's of course the auditory skill development. So the simplest way is to underline, like snack bar, a, so one, a pencil, one, and two books. So we are expecting two, three, four items. So over here, this will be gone. Kids might get confused between this two, but since we are doing two books, we will be considering this. Over here, it's one book, so this one will be eliminated. So auditory, checking the list and then going with the pictures. It might be slow in the beginning, but once they get used to it, they you have to time them because there is a time limit per battery. So solving the questions on time is also one of the criteria. And I will also tell you something in the end about how you can prepare them for that. But for now, moving on to the next question: picture or verbal classification categories basically. So over here, we can see the common element is sphere. So all the cubes will be gone. Now, I have seen kids getting confused between this and this. That's why 2D shapes, I said, it's very important to learn because sphere and ellipse, like oval, is very different. So, our answer will be this because none of these are oval. Kindergarteners often call it egg-shaped. Isn't that cute? Next, I would like to talk about common knowledge areas for verbal batteries. Similarity in object, color, shape, size, orientation, and count. Looking for similarity in between two pictures or objects on the basis of color, shape, size, orientation, and count. Then we have objects and its parts. So objects and its parts, as in say laptop, and its the keyboard is a part of the laptop. Um, or say like door knob or door handle is a part of the door. Objects and its use. What is the function? Like refrigerator is used to cool things. Oven is to keep things warm or to cook. Living and non-living, so they have to do the category of living things and non-living things. um, it's pretty simple. Body parts and their use. Body parts and their use as in function, like we use our ears to hear, we use our eyes to watch, very simple stuffs. What do we use it for? Legs to walk. Vehicles and setting. Classic example will be a train in a station. Other examples will be a police car in the police station, like a little bit more detailed. Moving to the next one, we have habitat. Habitat is where, like, animals or, living things live. So, like kennel for dogs, and then farm animals, we have pigs stay in the farm or barn, horses in the barn, and then human beings in buildings, homes, tents. Clothes and body part relation. It's pretty much that, I think all kids know this. We don't wear mittens in our on our feet. We have ear muffs on our ears, not on our eyes. Pretty simple. Food ingredients. Uh, this is the continued part for the verbal batteries. It's a little bit more complicated list where we have food and ingredients like ketchup comes from tomatoes, and then lemonade comes from lemons. Then we have emotions: sad, upset, happy. Sometimes they want you to understand the subtle emotions on a joker's face or a cartoon's face. How do you think the baby is feeling? So this is for that. Community workers and their vehicles. Classic example: fire trucks and firemen, uh, dump truck, and like community service workers. Next, we have common instruments and its uses. Mostly uh, musical instruments, very important. And then instruments like, hammer, screw. Like hammer is more like a pounding, screw is more like screwing and rotational movements. They have minute details, has to be noticed. Instruments that are played by hands, instruments that are played by mouth, which uses air versus strings, very small details. Farm animals versus wild animals, um, forest animals versus farm animals versus pet animals, like basically different kinds of uh, animals. And then I think they also have I found some questions about carnivores, like meat eating animal and non-meat eating animals, so that you can include that. Then we have fruits, vegetables, flowers as a category. Citrus food versus green vegetable, versus red flowers. Few other examples. Number analogies. Number analogies is about finding the rule. So, for example, 1 is becoming 3. So, our rule is plus 2. Now, applying this rule here will be 3. So, we are expecting 3 stars here, and our answer is this. Just finding the rule, and there are certain rules like it can be half, it can be double. I'll go over that in our next at the end of this battery. Number puzzles is about balancing the ship so that it doesn't drown. So this one has an extra, so how do we balance it? So the best way I do is cancel to balance. It's about balancing both sides. So if we do 1, 2, 3, and we do 1, 2, 3, we have 2 here left. So to keep this ship floating, we need 2 here. So our answer is 2. That's the simplest and the fastest way to do cancelling. Then we have number series. The best tip for number series is to find out the pattern will be to write down the number of beads. So over here, for example, we have 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. So first try 2 digit, 3, 4 doesn't make sense, but 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. This is the pattern. So we know we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beads here. So we look for the answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our answer. So writing them down gives them a more visual feedback, and it also saves them time from counting the beads again and again to create any kind of confusion. And also you can the tip is here to write it down, count the number of beads, write the whole bead, see how the pattern goes. I would like to discuss about the common areas that you should be focusing on. As I was talking about the rules can be double. Double as in like 2 is becoming 4, 6 becoming 12. Then we have half. Half is basically 8 becoming 4 or 6 becoming 3. plus 2 plus 5 plus 8. So, but everything will be less than 10. Then we have minus, same, minus 8 minus 2, but less than 10. Same, no change, and the concept of 0 is kind of same. Say 3 balls is becoming blank. Concept of 0 is 3 staying the same. So plus 0 helps it to stay the same. It's a little bit different, but kind of the same concept. Half of a shape. Simple. Triple times 3. Let's say 3 times 3. So 3 will become 9 stars. 1/3 or 1/4. So basically quarter or 3 parts of something. Linear increasing and decreasing pattern. This is for the number series especially. So as I was saying, it can be a skip count pattern like 2 for the number beads, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So they are increasing by plus 2. So linear pattern of increasing, and then it can be similar with this way, it can be minus 2. So it can be 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. And other ways, say this, sometimes hop, like this, do like 2, and then they do 3, then they do 5, then 8. So plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. See the gaps? This is another series. Skipping pattern. Skipping pattern is mostly a skip counting. So I kind of showed you here. So it's kind of two things happening at the same time. They're skip counting, and then at the same time they are increasing or decreasing. Then alternating pattern, like 2, 4, 2, 4, breaking number into 2 or 3 parts. It's basically decomposing, and this is mainly for the train. You have to sometimes for the answers you have to break down, like ultimately you're left with, so say ultimately in the train you are left with this. Sometimes the answer form will be in a different way, like so decomposing a number into twos and ones, it can be regrouped. So decomposing that is another way to know, to just to choose the answer. Simple addition and subtraction within 10. This is again to know the rule as well as how much to add and how much to subtract to balance the trains. Next, we have the nonverbal battery. So this will be more like figure matrices, and one example will be heart becoming an hexagon. So hexagon will become a heart, but what kind of a heart? So in the first elimination process, we eliminate these two options. We are left with two hearts, but what kind of a heart? A colored one or a non-colored one? With the second elimination process, we know we are looking for a non-colored one. So this one goes out of our choice, and then we are left with our answer. Pretty simple. Paper folding. Paper folding is mostly about imagining, and then you can start with like origami papers too. Sometimes you get like origami papers in those Japanese dollar stores. You just buy them in bulk, fold them, and start. Just use a punch machine. So as you can see, you have to look for the arrows. So this is folding this way. So basically we have this, and this will become like a triangle here, and then we make a hole here. So when you open this hole should mimic here. That's but these are two holes, so because we have two holes here, this should mimic here. So our best answer is this. And there is also a trick to it. uh, if there are two holes here, if it is only one time folded, it's a simple multiplication. If it's two holes, if it is folded one time, look for options with four holes, and then comes the position. So in that way you could have eliminated this two, because they don't have four holes, they have more than four. If it is more than four, that means we are looking for something two folds. So then the paper folding will be once this way and then another this way. So we will be expecting first this, and then probably something like this. So it depends on two things: the number of holes and the position of the holes. It's a simple mirror image thing. Next is figure classification. For this, uh, let's see which belongs the best. So what are we looking for here? We are first looking for a combination of arrows and circle. So for that, we can easily cancel this one because it doesn't have a circle. Now, what are we looking for? A circle uh, and a arrow combination where one should be shaded, one should be not shaded. So we can easily cancel this one and this one. And so what's left is this one. Do we have one shaded and non-shaded? Criteria number one, yes. Do we have a combination of both circle and the arrow? Yes. So our answer is this. And then you can match and look back like a more like a check back, like arrow, circle, arrow, color, non-color, two things happening at the same time. So it might be a little confusing for the kids, but they get the hang of it once you tell them what to look for. So exactly coming to that, what to look for. So for that, you need to first know what are 2D shapes, then color filled versus non-color filled, alternating shapes, split shapes, rotation by 90-degree, shape size increase and decrease, regrouping of shapes. Regrouping of shapes as in, like, sometimes they regroup three shapes into two and then one. So this is regrouping. There's both three, but they are actually regrouped in different ways. Mirror image. Um, Mirror image is basically this and this. Then we have rotation clockwise and anti-clockwise. So sometimes things move this way and then the things move the other way. So clockwise rotation and anti-clockwise rotation. It depends on the shape. And for paper folding, as I said, imagining open and close with punch holes. To look for number of punch holes, two punch holes times one fold will go to 4. Two punch holes two times will become double. So it's punch hole added to the number of folds. Success tips. Number 1, practice as many questions as you can. Quantity. But quality first. Next, practice from books from different publishers. This is to enrich whatever you have learned, because different publishers have different book formats, so they get used to um, you know some of the difficult parts, like, or different kinds of a question which they have not seen before. And then cover the next grade level course as well. So if you are applying, or say, if you are giving the exam for kindergarten, I would do first grade. If you are preparing for first grade, I would start from kindergarten and then do the second grade as well, to get a full coverage of the course. Other than this, a quick tip, additional tip will be practice in different places, practice in different environment rather. Why? Because most of the time, kids know the stuff. It's just like, because it's not taken in a school setting, and sometimes you have to give the exam in a different kind of a setting, in a different building, they get perplexed, they kind of feel anxious. So once they know the full course, they're confident, just take a sheet or a question paper, practice in the library, practice in a office room setting, practice in a food court. So just different areas to get them used to taking tests, and environment factor, then the anxious part will be gone. And another tip will be bubble sheets. So for bubble sheets, I would say, like, from day one, start practicing on bubble sheets. Don't let them use the bubbles in the books, because they might be at kindergarten level, I think they allow their thing, but from grade 1 they have to do it in a bubble sheet. And also another objective of bubble sheet is, you can practice the, with the same book again and again. So if they don't mark on the book, you can actually reuse the book to go back to it and revise. Because once they mark, kids, I have often seen, like, look at those, marks from the, even after erasing, if they see some of the marks, they just, guess there. But it's not about guessing, they will only get one shot there, it's not about trial and error. So practicing on bubble sheets also ensures, like, repeated revision. So, once they are done with the book, you can take, like, the questions which you can see, like, these are the questions he or she is having problems, or the pattern. And then you can, take one chunk from that book and one chunk from the book, and make your own set of question that, that your child is having problem, and just, get the core out of it. So these are the recommendations I have. So that was the end of our video today. If it really helped you, or you got some information from it which is helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and you know try to support our channel. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'll be more than happy to help you or your child towards success. And thank you for watching, and see you until next time. Bye bye.